They have that rolled ice cream that is bomb diggity. I haven't been there in a minute because of obviously COVID, and it was actually winter, so summer is here now. So the Prescott Creamery is up and running again, which is totally awesome.
Where is that at?
It's over off of Willow Creek Road in Prescott, Arizona. Um, right across right in the same thing of Fry's on Willow Creek Road, out there by the dog park by Watson Lake,
Okay, yep,
Willow
yep.
Lake.
Oh, I have been out there. That is really good. Yeah,
Yes, Eric. Yes, my
I
friend.
completely forgot about that.
So
That does sound good right now.
yeah, it's actually good for the summertime. And obviously, we are getting into some crazy weather coming up, and we're like looking to a little bit of dry, a little bit of wet. So that's kind of cool. I mean, Eric, it's supposed to start the monsoon season. We all know about the monsoon season.
Like today, today's like the
Yep.
official start. I like as like at least the forecast showed possible monsoon today.
Oh, really? Well, that's a
Yeah.
good thing. I've always liked to go ahead and enjoy monsoon season, and the best part about it is actually like taking a nap during the rainy moment of the day. So, the good old days.
So
Still,
we got
I
a
mean,
comment
every
from
day.
June. June's asking, has anybody seen the statues at YMRC West with the mass on it? And actually, I took a picture of it yesterday. I was sending it to San Martin. So, yep, that's what they did to the mass over by the hospital, or over to the statues over by the hospital. So, yes, June, yep, there you go. That's what they did.
Yeah, there we go. Next to Roblox and Method Coffee. That just sorry. Somebody just posted me. Thank you guys over there. I don't know anybody's name. There, everybody's like in acronyms and special names and stuff. But anyways, thank you guys for your input over there. But yeah,
Oh,
those masquerade
are you
and
talking
insane.
about the ice cream place? Yeah. So they've named all the ice creams off of local schools, like all the
Oh,
combinations.
oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So they have
Oh,
one for
nice.
every like Chino. They got Badger or something. So yeah, they did a really good job of naming each of their little concoctions after the local schools.
Nice, man. Yeah. Andy Jolly, I don't know if you know who owns the place, but Andy Jolly is the owner. He's also a local lawyer here in Prescott. And I don't know if you knew this, Eric, but he just jumped on board for the Prescott Times. He is now officially my lawyer. Him and his
Awesome.
practice are him and his practice are going to be representing the Prescott Times in need whenever I'm in need, and hopefully I'm never in need, man, because I'm not out in that game to go ahead and just like, hey, I need to talk to my lawyer today. So hopefully this is one of those moments where I don't have to worry about nothing anymore.
There you
And
go.
I giggle because man, we got a lot to worry about. So anyways, a lot of things are happening. Yesterday, when we got off the line, we started talking about political stuff, and I told everybody online that we will be, covering um, the local municipality elections. So Chino Valley and Prescott Valley are going through elections right now, and it just so happened. Excuse me, guys. It just so happened that they just had a panel with the six candidates for Chino Valley just recently, and they were kind of happy with it, but at the same time, I heard they only had a minute to explain themselves, which in all cases, guys, a minute is really not much to hear your candidate. So what we are going to do here at the Prescott Times is actually give them an opportunity, a stage for 20 to 30 minutes each to go ahead and figure out, who they are, what they're all about, where they come from, so we could all sit down and put people in the right position where they rightfully can be. So with that being said, we are going to be interviewing them. We're not going to interview every one of them consecutively 30 minutes after 30 minutes after 30 minutes. We will just randomly place them, and then we'll have that video up and running so you guys can go ahead and see and hear about all your candidates that are going to be here running for a position in Chino Valley. And I think it's a very strategic move to really follow what's happening on our little towns around Prescott, Arizona. So the growth in Prescott Valley needs to be obviously questioned. Knowing that, prior to Cal Palaguta's, residency over there, there was already a lot of building going on. So uh, putting people into the position that have been running, Prescott Valley for years, unopposed, is now being opposed by, I think, was it six candidates over there, or was it?
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
Yeah. So, and one of the seating council people has stated that this is the first time that they've actually seen a major increase of people wanting to go ahead and sit in those seats. So, if you guys are really worried about what's happening in our town, our towns, and our local area, this is the time for you to go ahead and sit down. Obviously, I really will advocate, to put people that, really, really think about, our growth. So,
Well, and Sam,
anyway,
I was listening to that because I was helping stream that thing. It seems like all of the tri-city area, everybody has the same concerns, right? Their councils are all talking about the same stuff: traffic, water, growth. Like everybody has in this area, we're all thinking about the same thing. So maybe we can all come together as a all four cities.
yeah, it looks like the candidates like to go ahead and the first thing that they talk about is growth and responsible growth. I'm yet to find the right person that says no growth, because that person right there really would like to go ahead and see Prescott stay the same, which I'm okay with, Eric. I'm really really okay with what Prescott is right now. I don't think that we do need growth. I think we should probably stay small, petite, and really enjoy our people, our friends, and just like enjoy, man. If you get it any bigger, infrastructure and all that needs to be replaced and done, and that right there obviously is a big ticket. And from what I know of the city doesn't have that money to be doing anything. So,
Well, San Martin, years ago when I moved here, the county had a really, really high environmental impact fee. And so if you wanted to build a house, it costs a lot of money because that impact fee was there. And it really kind of checked our growth, right? And so that money went to building county roads, and that money went to building infrastructure. And like 5 years ago, I think the Arizona Supreme Court basically said that those impact fees were illegal, and they got thrown out, and then our growth just got just explosive. And so I think that kind of has a lot to do with it. And now it's really hard to get the money needed from infrastructure, from an infrastructure standpoint with all the new building.
well, obviously, everything can change and everything can go ahead and be, talked about, because the people are supposed to be the ones that run our country and our cities and our states. So if nobody speaks up and nobody talks, then guess what? They basically just vote things in between. I think, how many people sit on the council?
It depends on
10.
the city. No, no, that's really big. I think six.
One,
Depends
two,
on the
three,
city.
four, five, six. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's seven in Prescott.
Well,
I,
it
I I'm
could
just
be.
I'm
The
just
cool, the
actually
cool
looking
thing, the cool
looking
thing
at the
is that like we've never seen anything out of Chino Valley before, or really Prescott Valley, and it's like blown up that these elections and stuff. That's awesome. It's awesome to see people get involved.
It is. I really do think that it's now time, or it's now or never, that we actually see some things happen. And once again, our world is in a big, 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 like, what is going on, man? It's kind of an important, and it's actually really important that you guys understand what's going on in our local elections. I mean, no matter what, every Tuesday in Prescott, there is a council meeting that we share live. You guys can go there and you guys can write your municipality if you're not okay with things. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a free pass for everybody to go ahead and put down their I don't know, whatever. It's not a complaint letter. It's literally, let's go ahead and see and make sure that any decision that we make today will be a better for tomorrow for our kids. And that's kind of what's happening right now, Eric, is that a lot of things that weren't thought about back in the days are now kind of like coming back and haunting us. So here we
Well,
are.
and the stuff that's so
2020.
important, like most of the water decisions that were made for the area were made in the 1960s,
Yeah,
and
not
that the
not
stuff that
acknowledging us.
right, and that was long before us, right? And so here we are living by those rules. So once those things are inactive, they're here to stay for a long time. So it's so important. I mean, it's funny. We post the protest and you get hundreds of viewers watching, but you post a city council meeting and you get two. And so people really need to get involved more in these kind of things. Just even watching it from the comfort of your own home, do it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely do it. I can't express it enough. As I get older, when you're younger, you just like assume that everybody's going to be able to take care of whatever you think that's happening. Like when that road is it's done, you're just like, oh, look at that, a road is done. But behind the scenes, it actually takes a choreographed people to make that type of stuff happen. So without that, you know, I guess that character properly, helping the community, we're basically putting people in place that will, either make us not like them or like our area anymore. I don't know. But anyways, it's a smart move to go ahead and focus on what's happening right now in your local community. So, and once again, guys, just because it says the Prescott Times doesn't mean that we just focus on the Prescott area or the Prescott City limits. We focus on all of Yavapai County. 863 is the name of this the morning show, and we do like to go ahead and make sure that we bring you guys the information that you guys need to go ahead and listen to. Everybody's right now saying, oh, I can't believe we put them in election, and you better believe it, because if nobody's standing up and doing something, then guess what, this is what's going to happen. So anyways, this is election year, and we need to go ahead and strategically put good people into position, so we could go ahead and make sure that our future is well spent, well done. So, anyways, that's kind of cool. Politics are really not my friend, but I really do want to, support my leadership, whoever's in that leadership. I just, I feel like that's something that's been a lost art of people just trusting our leadership roles. So, I don't know. I kind of stand on the side of the fence of
So
like,
let's talk about other news then. So it's good stuff. So speaking of leadership and all of this other good stuff, obviously we're under a lockdown-ish order to where gyms and bars and everything are closed. Have you gone downtown? Have you seen, is everything closed on Whiskey Row? What's open? What's not? I think people really want to know because, like the breweries sent messages out saying, "Hey, we serve food. We're not closed." And so I saw a number of those.
yeah,
Um,
it's bars that don't serve no food. If you're not a bar that serves food, close down. And unfortunately, a lot of it's kind of weird, Eric, because once again, Governor Ducey came out with that executive order saying no bigger crowds than 50 people. But then here we are getting, um, you know, press releases from the world's oldest rodeo saying we are going to go forward because each municipality had its own decision to make to see if we're going to go ahead and run these events. And they said our municipality is going to run with it because we feel safe, we feel obligated to keep this event going. We have downtown business partnerships that sent a press release, like immediate release, and we actually posted that yesterday, saying that the 40th uh, 4th of July Arts Festival will carry on with obviously the CDC standards. But once again, these things that you guys are wanting to do as a family, yeah, that is your discretion. If you don't feel safe going out, do not go out. Please do not go out. But at the same time, it's just one of those viruses that we don't know the outcomes
and I'm kind of dumbfounded, San Martin. I don't know. You know where Metro Center is. I know you spent some time in Phoenix, right?
yeah, it's that
So
one that's right next to the Castle and Coasters, right?
yeah, Castles and Coasters. So they're demolishing it, and its last day was yesterday, and
Yeah.
18,000 people showed up to do um, you just basically say goodbye, do cruising in the area and things like that. And there was video last night of people standing arm in arm right next to each other, but yet the gym on the corner has to be closed. I'm just dumbfounded. I mean, I'm just 18,000 people, but uh, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Eric. There's a lot of things that don't make sense, my friend. A lot of things that don't make sense. And once again, it's kind of down to the nitty gritty. I don't know if you've seen the guy out in speaking of gyms, the guy out in Scottsdale that says, "I'm sorry, Governor Ducey, but I am not complying. I need you to give me the facts of how my gym personally is affecting everybody." And he says, "I'm not closing down." and he's making a big, huge uproar, which is causing major headlines. Like, this is insane. How are you going to compare me to a bar when at bar people are belligerent drunk, and obviously their interactions a little bit careless because they're drunk
Yeah,
or they're under the influence.
the what you call it, they fined him this morning. Scottsdale Police Department fined him and cited him with a misdemeanor this morning.
How much?
It's $2,500, I think.
Oh wow, wow. Yeah. So over here we have Kim Marsh saying that my gym is way clearer than most bars, which I agree. But once again, I think that in the gym we have to suffer a couple of things, and some people have been bringing up, some very really suggestive ideas. So we have the the morning. Okay, so when you walk into a gym, you basically are in there and you're breathing hard. One of the things that people were saying is that obviously these chemicals or these things that come out of your mouth are going to go straight into the duct system. And guess what? When you breathe and they're underneath the duct system, guess where that wind and air and everything goes? We can trust those filters, but how long have those filters been in there? How long is it doing this? How long is it doing that? And scientists are really really trying to find this stuff out. So it's really hard to say, how everything is going to be going down. So ultimately, we got to make sure that we walk that. Eric took a little second. So we're going to go ahead and move into a couple of things that are happening here locally in Prescott. The 4th of July obviously is canceled this weekend. There's no parade. There's no kiddie parade. There's no all these things. So my question is, um, what do you guys remember about the Prescott Rodeo? For me, the Prescott Rodeo has been some of the most, I guess, inspirational moments of my time because one, it's obviously something to look forward to, and two, you see people out there such as how our I guess our area has been kind of like pioneered, and the cowboy lifestyle has been very real and very uh, relevant here locally in Prescott. And I gotta say, I actually owned a horse at one point in time, and I spent a lot of times out there, on a ranch and just having fun, taking care of animals and just loving animals and that whole little wildlife. But I also feel myself as a city boy. So anyways, guys, it's kind of crazy to see, a lot of this stuff happen, and I'm okay with it by, not, talking with anybody or being around anybody because of, just being safe and stuff. But I'm going to really, really miss the ways that business is. I'm going to really miss how events actually occur here locally in Prescott and how to move forward. That's going to be the biggest ticket right now. So, anyways, the events are very real in our area as far as a economic value. So it's going to be hard to see this happening. Eric's back. Eric, there was a question that I had. So when Prescott ended up getting, that, what was it, 4 million or was it 5 million or $1 million to go ahead and advocate towards businesses or to keep your city going? What did I don't know how to get that information on what are they doing with that money.
So I have not heard, but you may have to file a Freedom of Information Act request with the city.
Yeah, but okay, so I mean, when Governor Ducey, or yeah, I think Governor Ducey said, "I'm going to allocate, this much money," and I think the city came out and says, "We've been allocated this much money, and what we're going to do with it is blah 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 blah." And that's what the blah 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 part I want to know about. What do they do with it? What are they
Yeah,
going to do with it?
they have to
It's fine.
disclose it in their budget, but I have not heard a thing.
Yeah, you would think that they would help out the businesses downtown Prescott to kind of just like get them through this freaking time, just because that is the tourist. But once again, tourism is scary because people are like, why are we inviting people from out of town to come in here when they're not allowed to do something in their town? I mean, they're being careless, they're being blah blah blah. I mean, it's so freaking like insane to see a lot of this stuff happening, and I was trying to advocate, it was kind of crazy. Everybody's like, Martine, what are you saying? Close down the state? I'm like, well, come on, man. Somebody has to have an answer. You tell me the answer then. You tell me how it's supposed to be working. And so Anyways, it's something
I
that
agree with you. This half on, half off doesn't work, right? And
it
so
doesn't.
we need to put plans and just stick with it. But this whole flip flopping, it certainly doesn't work. And speaking of that, you're talking about business stuff. The PPP loan program ended yesterday. So if you didn't get your PPP loan before yesterday, you're not getting one. But there's talk in Congress right now about extending that deadline because there's money left over.
Yeah, there is also the it wasn't the PP it was a PPU or PPI.
There's a
I
PPP
felt
loan
like there
and
was.
there's ELDI, which is the emergency whatever loan.
Yeah, I feel like there was a couple of things. The Prescott Chamber of Commerce actually posted something yesterday saying that there was a local office or organization that actually is helping local businesses. So before you guys close those doors, make sure that you have everything covered. I mean, a lot of people are probably saying, "I'm over this. I don't have time for this, man. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna go home and just like sit here and wait for this whole thing to blow over." So, anyways, man, it's scary times out here, Eric. I don't know what to do with myself. This
Yeah.
morning, I was like, do I want to go out with a mask or don't I want to go out with a mask? It's like did I did I put on my underwear today? You gotta remember it, man. This is something that is like
It's
it's
just like your underwear. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's washed.
yeah. You got your little your table of all your stuff. You got your keys, your wallet, your face mask. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an essential part of your day-to-day pocket stuff. So I don't know, guys. It's one of those crazy days, man, where you just have to start thinking about all of it. But election year, last time when the President Trump was going in against Hillary Clinton and stuff. I mean, that was the biggest crap show that I've ever seen in my life. That was the year where I was like, I don't even know what to believe or what to think. We first had our first POC is what everybody's calling a black president for the first time ever. A person of color is, I guess, the proper terminology, but a dark skinned man was the first one. And then all of a sudden I was thinking, oh crap, next year we might have a woman president. And that didn't happen. We ended up with Trump as president. And I was like, all right, well, let's see what happens. Let's see how many people get fired. And over his 4 years, man, he's fired so many people. He's like, get out of here. We don't want you here.
It's
So
crazy
it,
times. It's crazy times.
it is, man. And so I kind of lost a little bit of faith, but I always wanted to, really, respect my leaders. I really did. I really wanted to respect my leaders. And I really love to, I guess, what would you say? I've always had a respect for those type of people, and it's a respect, not like a oh my god, it's the mayor. It was more or less like what he has a hard job. He has a very hard job, and at times like this is when it really really shows what's really happening, and how will you take it? I mean, I don't see anybody in leadership right now having a good time at
No, they're
all.
not. But I think we as people forget most of the stuff is on a local level, right? I mean, the governor's who's making these deals. The mayors are the one that are putting these things into place. The town councils are voting on where the money's being spent. I mean, we forget that most of these things are controlled by people that nobody votes for because all they care about is voting for a presidential election. And so, man, these leaders it's so important, more important maybe than a presidential election is voting for your local leaders. I think San Martin was playing with his stuff and we lost him.
And I suggest no, no, I'm still here. You're
There
still
we go.
here.
Okay.
Wait, who's still here? Something was happening, man. Somebody got moved over here. Who moved?
All right, you're back. I got you.
Nobody moved. Nobody moved. Okay, so Eric, it's just one of those moments in time where we are all kind of like, wondering what the next step is. How are we going to go ahead and get past this? I came up with some suggestions, but obviously, I am not a leader. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a common sense man. Common sense says, shut it all down. Shut it all down, and just let's go ahead and let it blow over. Obviously, everybody's like, well, how do we feed ourselves? Well, guess what? In the beginning of the COVID, we all remember how all the farms were just like, I don't know where to take this food. The food interruption was the food source was interrupted. So I hate to see what's going to happen next. This is it's so scary, man, scary. So, anyways, guys, my uncle called me yesterday, and he said something to me which was kind of crazy. So 6 months ago, he said a man came up to him, and I forgot exactly how they interacted or what was going on, but this man says, "Hey, do you have a second that I could talk with you?" And my uncle, he's very talkable man, or he likes to chatter, and
It
so
must run in the
he was
family.
it does. Well, he was actually the one that got crazy. So I actually got a lot of my saying hello to everybody from my Uncle Rich. So shout out to Uncle Rich. Um, and he says this. He goes, "The man came up to me, and just out of ordinary when people talk to you like this. He says this was 6 months ago, Eric. He says you need to prepare yourself for some bad things that are going to be happening." And 6 months ago was what, January, yeah, January,
Yeah, it
right?
would have been January. Yeah, six
Yeah,
months ago.
January.
The year is half
And this
over.
yeah, this is before the, what do you call it, started arousing, as far as the virus. And well, I don't know. I don't know. I asked my uncle, I say, "Do you know who he is? What he's all about? Can you find him and ask him why he said that to you 6 months ago?" He goes, I really can't. I possibly could, but whatever. Yeah, but he says you should prepare yourself for a food shortage. You should prepare yourself for just anything, and then have that all ready to go. And he said that half of the stuff that he was actually talking about is now being played out today. So he's like, man, there's a couple more things that he said that hasn't happened yet, but he's like, the things that he was saying, I was like, wow, that sounds kind of like in line of what is actually ready to start happening. So hopefully the shutting down of the bars and whatever else you think that is actually, a host for the virus to be spread is going to slow this down. But I really don't know. It's one of those things where we do not know the outcome. I
Well,
really don't.
Sam
So
Martin, before we wrap up, that we talked about this offline, is this is now our second shutdown. And so, the first one and reopening normal, I mean, it all didn't work, right? So we need to all stop pretending and make plans and operate as this thing's not going away, and start doing some responsible stuff and business changes. And you heard me offline. I said, look, let the free market work, open everybody up. But if a business is caught being the spread of COVID, man, they need to pay for everybody's medical bills or be fined or lose their license. And let the free market work. Businesses will step up and do what they have to do so that they don't lose money. And if they're afraid of people getting infected at their business, they're going to go way out of their way to make sure that they're safe. And
yeah,
that's the only way to really do this thing. And I'm a strong believer in that. Let the free market work. But it's not going away. So I don't know if you saw, I posted, I had some friends in Phoenix that have a very successful photo booth company. And obviously that's all gone away. There isn't. So they've reinvented their company into taking 3D photos of houses for sale. And I love it. I mean, they've come to the realization that their business isn't going to be what it was, and they've reinvented themselves, and they're going to be in business and they're going to be successful. And all these people are like, let's hope that it's going to go away and go, things are going to get better. It's here. Let's deal with it. Let's make plans. Let's make some long-term plans, and let's move on.
yeah. This is one of the things is that even if you take those precautions, Eric, this is what happens with those precautions. Like, say for instance, you walk into a place, or you go to a gas pump, or you go to wherever, like, location that you're going to, not acknowledging that you have just got in contact with COVID-19 virus. You put it on your hands, you take it back to your house. Everybody now in your house is sitting there and has whatever, not acknowledging that this has actually happened. So they walk into Walmart, they walk into Target, they walk into their gyms, they walk into those bars, they walk into those restaurants. They keep on providing these little locations, and then therefore everybody that they came encountered with could possibly be the next COVID candidate. So even
Right.
if you do
But
have those stipulations, it's hard to go ahead and
right. No, it's all
stipulate
about
those.
mitigating risk. it's nothing's perfect, right? But so think about it from this perspective, because I told you the gas pump thing earlier. You go to a gas pump, you got COVID, you touch the handle. That now COVID's on that handle. Now, if that handle doesn't get disinfected for 3 days, everybody that touched it, which let's say it's 1,000 people, have now come in contact with it. But if that gas station is incentivized to clean those handles every half an hour, so instead of 1,000 people touching it and coming in contact with it, it's now maybe 10. So it's about doing things to reduce the risk and things like that, and encouraging companies and people to do the right thing by reducing the risk. And those are the things that right now I can tell you, we've done things in our business to make sure that those risks are reduced, because we don't want problems, right? Because I understand what could happen, but there's a lot of bad actors and and companies that just don't care, and they've done nothing to reduce the risk. And they're like, what are you going to do to me? Nothing. You gonna shut me down? What are you gonna do to me? And that's their attitude. And they're the ones that are spreading this.
Yeah, I'm actually getting a message right now from somebody
Okay.
saying, say,
No names.
asking why is CrossFit's a part of gyms because they're still open. So I don't
And
know.
we actually had a question last night about karate. Are karate dojos considered gyms? And that's a really, both of those I think are fine lines.
Well,
I
dance
would I would
class,
think CrossFit's a gym.
yeah, yoga. I mean, all these places that have interaction. I think what the biggest issue is with, once again, when you're in the gym, you're breathing. Remember when we were talking with Dr. Bloom, she was saying, the breathing, when you're breathing heavier, that means a lot is coming out. Like
Yeah.
when you're like, slamming your weights on the ground, going, oh, that is projecting farther than 6 foot. Unfortunately, that's not safe. But I don't know, my friend. I ain't no scientist, but I tell you what, man. Well, it's I don't know what to say. It's just like it's just so confusing to me. People
Yeah.
people out there are really, really, really taking this to kind of crazy heart, and it's definitely dividing our community. So, anyways, I really hope that this could
Well,
actually. I was hoping that it would be done by now, Eric. Like
I
this
think we
was
all
going to
were. I
be
think
like.
we were hoping the heat was going to kill it, right? I think that was all of our hopes. And so let's live in
And
reality. Didn't work.
I know yesterday I got a letter from Dr. Bloom, and I don't know if you read it, but it was stating that because of the heat, it's actually worse. And the
Mhm.
reason why is because everybody's going inside of their AC houses, AC cars, AC everything. And
Yep.
guess what's happening? There is no actual real
There's no
uh,
filtering.
filtering of air coming through. So guess what?
Mhm.
Everybody breathing all heavy is just going straight through the system and then coming
Yeah.
right back out and just pouring out to whoever. So if COVID-19 guy sits underneath a vent and the vent goes up and goes to the next level, or goes through the vent and then spews out on whoever's around, then that's kind of like a
If you remember,
yeah.
Sam, I mean, remember our theory was back in May that it was so bad in New York is because they were all doing central air conditioning systems. So if one apartment got it, it spread it to all the apartments, type of thing. And they're actually making in New York now, they're making those people that are doing malls and things like that have to put in a COVID filtering system in their AC before they can open.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, this is the responsibility that most businesses have. It's protocol for. I mean, even in the places that I reside, it's protocol. You change your filters on a regular basis. Don't allow it to go ahead and get clogged up. One, it's actually good for your system. Two, it's actually good for your system. So you got to you have to keep that up on point. So, anyways, Eric, I can't ramble on anymore.
It's time. We went over today, so it's just our frustration is, and the community's frustration is boiling over. We ran over 6 minutes, so it's time.
Man, well, once again, I appreciate everybody joining us, and we will be able to go ahead and answer any questions that you guys have. But realize in the next coming week, we will be talking to a lot of candidates for your local area in Chino and Prescott Valley. So be watching this because you guys do not want to miss, putting these people into that rightful seat. So make sure you make the right choice and make sure that those people are right for your little town. our little towns, our area. Let's make sure that they're right for that. And then let's put somebody in position that's going to help us and make sure that our future is good for our local environment. Number one key, local environment needs to stay the same. But growth is inevitable. We just got to do responsible growth, they say. Responsible. I say no more growth. We're done.
Are you saying we're full?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll open up the doors if I were a person that was having to be in charge. I'll open up the doors if it was good for our community, or such as some food. I don't know. I like food, so I'd be like, okay, if you want to open up some doors for like some sort of like whatever food, and I'd be like, all right, let's do that. But as far as like moving 10,000 people into the area, I might be like, you guys can come visit, but you gotta go home afterwards. Come spend money at the Airbnbs
Right.
at Prescott. What is the new
Now
name?
vacation in Prescott. Yeah.
Vacation in Prescott. Yes, that's what we want, Eric. We want people just to come on vacation and go home. Don't live here. Go home.
All right, let's wrap it. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Do your sign
All
out.
right, man. Peace, love, and happiness. Let it not be war. Thank you guys all. If you guys want to see more information, more news stories, please go to the PrescottTimes.com. A lot of it doesn't reach the airways here, but you guys can follow the Facebook page and also the Instagram stories. And also, yeah, I don't know what else, man. If you guys, I don't know. If you guys have some more places to go ahead and post some stuff, let me know, because we're going to be doing that for sure. But anyways, I'm out. Thank you guys.